Hi, how you doing? It's Jeff Sinker from SkypeGuitarLessonsOnline.com. Great to see you all again. Hope you're all doing very well. This lesson we are going to be looking at Book of Souls by Iron Maiden from the album Book of Souls. Great little track. Starts off obviously with the acoustic side, and then we've got a series of riffs. A few different changes in here to learn. But generally it's not a bad song to put together, so I'm sure you're going to enjoy learning how to play this track. If you are a first time visitor to the site, great to see you. I'm sure you're going to enjoy the content of this channel, and what I would really recommend, click on the subscribe button down there, click on the bell, and that way you'll be notified whenever I'm posting any new videos to this channel. Anyway, enough of me talking, let's get straight into this song and let me show you how to play Book of Souls. So don't go away.
Preview.
So we start off with an E and 7th fret on the high E being played together, followed by a hammer on and a pull off on 8th fret back to the 7. Then we are playing 10 on the B, back to the 7, move down 2 frets, and we're going to play 5 on the low E together with a hammer on from 5 to 7 back to 5 again, picking up the 8 on the B, back to the 5, and we move down to 3rd fret on this high E, and it's going to be again low E, so we're doing a 3-5, then we move down to 2 on the high E, back to the 3. And the final one is low E again with the 3, going to the 2. From there we go to the overdrive guitar section. Okay, I'll just play the riff through and then I'll break it down for you. And that section repeats. You play it about 4 times. So let me show you how to play that. We start off with a low E string, and then we're going to play 2, 3, 2 on the D string. Open string D to the 2. Now we move down to the A string, and we're going to play a 2, 3, 2 on the A string. Crossing over to the 5. Back to the 2 on the A, and then we got this 5, 3, 2. So that would be, and then we pick up the next bar, which is an open E string, and we do the same as we did previously. And the final part, very similar to that initial riff that we did, and we're going to play 2, 3, 2. 5 on the low E, back to the 2, and then it repeats. And again, that just repeats round. Let's look at the next section. Right, so I'll just play the riff through and then I'll break it down. Okay, fairly easy. We're going to start off with a low E, and then we've got a series of E5 chords. Then we move up to 8th position on an F5, moving down to D5 on 5th position. So we get, then we go back to that low E. And then we're going to just slide up. So we're just moving from 7 to 8 back to 7. Then we move up to 10th fret, so we're playing a G5. And then down to a D5. In a nice slow tempo. And that keeps on repeating itself through the main verse, We do that 4 times, and then we go back to the opening riff that we just looked at, and then we go into another verse. So now we're going to look at the pre-chorus section. It's a repeating riff, but to the end of this there is just one change. But what I'll do first of all, I'll show you the main repeating section of this pre-chorus. I'll just play it through and then I'll break it down. So we start off on 9th fret on the D string, to 9th fret on the G, and then we do a 7, 8 on the B string. So we get back to the 7, and then crossing over to 9 on the G, and then back to 7 on the B to 8. Then we've got to cross over to the high E, we're going to play 7. Back to the B on 10, and then finishing up on the 7 on the B. Next part stays it's half the same way, but there's a change on the end of it. So we go this 9 on the D, 9 on the G, and then 7, 8, 7 to the 9 on the G. And then we've got this playing across to 7, 8. And then we're going to do a 7, 9 on the G. Again, slow. Now I did say there was a little change towards the end. So what we've got the normal one. Then we've got this. So what I'm doing there, very, very similar. We're doing this 9 on the D, G, 9, and then we've got 8, 7, 8, 7. Back to the 9, then 7 on the B, and then we've got 8, 10, 7 on the B string. And then we've got our normal. So the final riff in all of this, we play this line. Which again, very, very similar. We're doing a 9 on the D, 9 on the G, and then we've got 7, 8, 7 on the B, 9 on the G, then with 7, and then we do an 8, and then a 10. We get that little space between the two notes. And that takes us straight into the chorus section. So let me just play through the chorus. Again, fairly straightforward. We're going to start off with an E5 chord, so we're down on that A7 fret. Then we're going to move up to this chord. What we're doing here, we're putting our first finger on 9th fret, but we got our little finger on 12th fret. Then we move up to the G. Moving all the way down to 3rd fret on the A string. A bar of that, and then we got on this D. So we get, and then we got 2 on A on the 5th fret on the E string, and then we repeat back. So we got this E, and we do that 3 times. On the last time, we go through the E, and then we play this G. So we're on 3rd fret. So we do a G5 to an F sharp 5, then we repeat the whole thing all over again. Once we've done a verse, pre-chorus and a chorus, and we repeat all that, we do that 2 more times. Now on the 3rd time, from the pre-chorus, instead of going to a chorus, we go into a break section, which I'll play through now and then we'll break it down. Coming out of that section, once we played through the verse, pre-chorus and verse, we then go back and we repeat that 2 more times. Now, on the 3rd time, instead of going into the chorus, we go into a break section, which I'll play now and then we'll break it down. Now, what we're doing there, we are first of all starting off on the low E string, and we're going to play 3 open E's. Then we're going to play a 10. Then we have got 2 open E's. Then we play a 7, 2 open E's, 8, 2 open E's, 5, 2 open E's, 7, 2 open E's, 3, and then we got 2 open E's, followed by 5, 3, 2, and then we repeat. Now you do that 4 times. In the example I did, I only did it twice, but we do that 4 times, and then we cross over to the A string and we play the exact same line, but using the A string as the pedal, working down the actual A string. And then it crosses back over to the E string, which again we do 4 more times. And coming out of that section, then we go straight into Dave Murray's guitar solo. What we're going to do is look at the rhythm guitar behind that solo. So I'll play it through and then I'll break it down. Okay, fairly straightforward this. We are starting off on a C5, so we're on the A string on the 3rd fret, and we're going to play 2 downstrokes, and then we got a triplet on the 3. Then we do the same thing again. Move up to an E5, moving down to a D5, back up to the E5. And we then just repeat that whole cycle round through the entirety of Dave Murray's guitar solo. Coming out of that guitar solo, then we go into a vocal break, but there's also a lead line and some power chords behind that. So let's go and look at that. And coming out of Dave Murray's first guitar solo, we have this little harmony that's played as a dual harmony, but I'll just show you the main part that is being played by Yannick Gears. We still have got them chords behind that we've just looked at. That's been played behind, but we have this line, and I'll just play it through for you. Coming out of Dave Murray's solo, we have this dual harmony line that is still being played over them power chords. So let me just play it through and then I'll break it down. From there we have a harmony line, again another dual harmony, but there is a different set of power chords that are being played behind that. So let's just have a look at the power chords and then we'll go on to the harmony. So the power chords are a C5 to a G5 to a D5, then we go back and do a C5 to an E5, and we just repeat them. Now over that we have this line. Now that just repeats all over that section, so we're going to play that, we played that 6 times. When we finish that, we then go back to that break section, the very fast section, over the E string, where you're doing the descending line. So we repeat all that section all over again. Now we're heading to the end of the song, and there is just one more line that we've got to look at, which is the outro harmony line. So I'll play that through and then I'll break it down for you. You can see it's fairly straightforward that. We're going to start off on this time on the high E string. You're going to do a 7-8-7 on the high E. And then we're going to do a 10-8-7 on the B. Finishing on 9 on the G. Then we got this little on that 7 on the high E. Same lines down though. But this time going to the high 10 on the high E. And then we just repeat it backwards and forwards. Now that continues to the end of the song. At the end of the song, we go back to the acoustic line, and that plays out to the end of the song. Well, we've covered all of the various sections that are played in the Book of Souls. Each part is played different times over different solos, but every single part we have covered. Now, I will include the tablature for this, so you can follow the sequence of events. But just going through each section that I've covered, you will have learned to play all the various elements. Apart from the guitar solos, which I will look at in a future lesson, you will be able to play the Book of Souls. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed this lesson as much as I've enjoyed teaching it. I'm going to let you go. So this is Jeff Sinker from SkypeGuitarLessonsOnline.com. Until the next time, take care. See you soon. Goodbye.